Making headlines tonight, the Barbados Revenue Authority issues a final demand to collect millions in land tax arrears. The National Housing Corporation reports on its electrical upgrade project. Regional Ministers of Education meet to chart the way forward for the Caribbean Examinations Council. And in sports, the U.S.A Masters Champions of over 50s Caribbean Cup.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. Barbadians looking for housing should be able to benefit from a new development which is being planned for St. Michael. The announcement from Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance, Dwight Sutherland. He was speaking during a tour of a national housing estate at Pleasant Hall, St. Matthias today.
The minister made the disclosure in the wake of concerns expressed by the public about conditions at some of the NHC's estates.
The lands at Low Burning, that's not in the point, but we're utilizing the lands at Low Burning, 40 acres. The conveyance is not finished as yet. We now have to vest the land in NHC. You see, we have acquired the land through planning gains, and I'm hoping by the start of the financial year we should see some construction there. So while we are repairing the 80 units in the Pine, we expect to see some building going on at Low Burning to marry the two.
The housing minister says a social survey will be done before the project comes to fruition.
We speak to the parliamentary representative and our housing planning division within the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Maintenance and National Housing to do our social surveys along with input from the parliamentary representative and other key stakeholders in that area, so we can indeed shift out and reduce the density where it is really needed.
An update has also been given on the National Housing Corporation's effort to stamp out fires in its units. The project involves the upgrading of the electrical infrastructure.
The National Housing Corporation will upgrade over 3,000 units at a cost of over $20 million. And I'm here to tell Barbadians that thus far we have spent $14.56 million to upgrade 1,892 units. And I also want to tell Barbadians that we're giving them more load capacity within the electrical framework, and we are going to modern day standards within all of these units. They're beautiful units, but they have antiquated and aged electrical framework.
The minister says the initiative is providing jobs for Barbadians, and the NHC is working with private contractors to complete the work, which covers about 3,000 units at a cost of over 20 million Barbados dollars. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
The Barbados Revenue Authority has issued 10,000 final demand notices for land tax arrears accumulated over a decade. The authority is seeking to recover approximately $247 million in outstanding land tax, inclusive of penalties and interest. The latest action follows the opportunity extended last year for people to possibly have interest waived on tax arrears. Manager for Communication and Public Relations at the Barbados Revenue Authority, Carolyn Williams-Gale, told CBC they remain open and committed to engaging with taxpayers who have unpaid debt to establish terms for repayment.
Following the offer last year to delinquent taxpayers, we have had numerous persons engage with us to apply for waivers of interest and to make payment arrangements to settle their debt. This particular collections exercise focuses on just over 10,000 property owners who have not engaged with the authority on their arrears. Through this initiative, the authority is seeking to recover approximately $247 million in outstanding land tax, inclusive of penalties and interest.
Barbados has voiced concern about the possibility the Caribbean Examination Council may increase some of its fees. Barbados Education Minister Kay McConney spoke about the issue during her presentation in the post-lunch segment of the CXC Ministerial Summit in Grenada.
I know that there are some increases in fees that are being contemplated, and we want to say at this time we would be very happy to understand where the justification will come, where the value will be for us, and how you intend to assist those of us that are more vulnerable than others to ensure that we do not disenfranchise our young people.
Ms. McConney has also outlined a 6-point plan for improving the education system, which will include enhancing teacher training, student outcomes, and legislative reforms.
We have an Education Act that is older than I am, and I will not confess to what that is. But the wonderful thing is when we sit and we talk with our partners in education, we ask them, at the time that this act was brought into force, what were the circumstances, what were the conditions? And they will easily say it is much different than it is today. And so we find ourselves trying to move into a 21st century of education with a 20th Century Education Act.
The regional ministers of education are meeting on the eve of the 50th anniversary of the Caribbean Examinations Council to chart the way forward for the examination body. It is being held under the theme Flexible Learning, Credentialing and Assessment. Chairman of CXC, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, has voiced concern about the pace at which the English-speaking Caribbean is moving its youth from the primary to secondary and tertiary level education when compared to the French and Dutch Caribbean.
This is a tragic situation. The French-speaking Caribbean are ahead. The Dutch-speaking Caribbean are ahead. The Spanish-speaking Caribbean ahead. We, in English CARICOM, are at the bottom of the pile in terms of moving our young people from primary, secondary, and into tertiary. This is why our economy is so sluggish in its recovery. We're still recovering from the 07-08 economic crisis because we are not generating the professional skills, we're not generating the professional training, the academic specificity to push innovation, to push economic development, to push transformation.
Barbados has opened an honorary consulate in the Rwandan capital, Kigali. Prime Minister Mia Motley, who was on an official visit to the African nation, was present for the occasion. The honorary consulate is seen as another major step in diplomatic relations between the two countries. According to Ms. Motley, Barbados is breaking new ground given that its relationship with Rwanda only started with vigor from April of this year. Her message to Rwandans: they are welcome and have a home in the Americas. She says she looks forward to welcoming a Rwandan delegation next year.
In May of next year, and I hope, I haven't met you yet, but I've heard so much about you. And I hope that we will find a way to make the impossible possible. And I think that in today's world, when we consider truly what is available, the time we go to London and we come back down, or New York and come back down, the journey is still longer than if we went straight. So it is a question of how do we excite the appetite on both sides of the Atlantic such that it is a win-win situation for all.
Already moved by Prime Minister Motley's speech at the COP27 climate subject in Egypt, she invoked Madiba's name. South Africans await her delivery of the 20th Nelson Mandela Annual Lecture. The lecture will be held on November 12th. Ms. Motley will address the theme, Social Bonding and Decolonization in the Context of the Climate Crisis, Perspectives from the Global South. Chief Executive of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Selo Hatang, says the lecture is one that will shed light on three key themes that are important to the Global South.
Social justice, climate change, and issues of decoloniality. How do we ensure that we become part of these debates as the Global South? But in there, we also want to be looking at social bonding. Are we bonded with each other? Are we bonded with the environment? Do we always think solidarity before we think of self? These are some of the threads that we hope this lecture will be dealing with. Please join us on the 12th of November in eThekwini, Durban, ICC, where we'll be looking at these, and we are saying to you, with your contribution, each one of us will then ensure that we play our part in changing the debates around climate change.
Coming up, big plans for a carnival in St. Andrew. A local organization is hoping it can partner with the government on more programs to create jobs for young people. It's the Barbados Contractors and Artisans Cooperative Society. Secretary of the Supervisory and Oversight Committee, Glenroy Babb, says the group already has a program with the Ministry of Labour which has been bearing fruit. He made the comments at a recent press conference.
We engaged with the Ministry of Labour and Social Partnership in the Job Start Plus program, where we became the first entity to be able to bring young adults from the age of 16 to 25, in line with the Barbados Contractors and Artisans Cooperative Society Limited, to give them employment, to be able to take them off the block and be able to engage them with the cooperative through the Ministry of Labour and Social Partnership. As Mr. Harris, our Vice President, said, we want to be able to take the young adults from the position of putting down the tools of destruction to be able to pick up the tools of construction.
Police are probing the shooting death of an elderly St. Thomas man. According to Police Communications and Public Affairs Officer, Acting Inspector Rodney Innes, 72-year-old Simeon Carlisle Legal of Spring Farm was shot about 6:30 yesterday evening. Reports are that Legal was subsequently discovered motionless on his bed by a family member. Lawmen are appealing to anyone who can provide information to assist them with this investigation to contact Police Emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477, or the nearest police station. One of Barbados's renowned musicians is continuing his efforts to ensure young people have a chance to learn to play musical instruments and pursue education in the field abroad. He is Ilan Trotman, and through his Head Start music program, he's giving many opportunities to hone their skills locally and abroad. This year, the program presented its first scholarship for Berkeley College to 18-year-old Daniel Harvey. Instruments and other supplies were also given to other students in attendance.
I was given a National Development Scholarship in 1998, which allowed me to go to college in Boston to have a free education, and I decided to become a music teacher. And that's one of the reasons why I started this program, to give back to Barbados, to give young people an opportunity to play an instrument, whether it's a saxophone like me, or a flute, or a clarinet like Mr. Weatherhead, or a trumpet like Mr. Jelani, right? But just to have an opportunity to create. Music is art. Art is expression. It's an opportunity to be yourself and to be unique.
And Minister in the Prime Minister's Office with Responsibility for Culture, Senator Dr. Chantal Monroe Knight has praised the Head Start team for its commitment to the upcoming generations.
I also noted that all of the tutors, thus far at least those that were introduced, are men and young men, and Mr. Weatherhead, I'm including you in that as well. And that again is significant in this society where we see images of young men not in the positive, where our society continually has a narrative that young men are in crisis. And what I see here is sacrifice. What I see here is talent being driven intergenerationally.
A response tonight to calls for production of more local music, this time outside of Crapova. Recording artist Ollaback has just released another single called Vibe for the Night from his upcoming EP. The launch took place at Westmoreland St. James. The EP marks the artist's new stride into music as he transitions into a new genre, which he brands Beyond Music, a fusion with blends of dancehall, soca, Afrobeats, pop, and R&B. He says after 15 years involved in the Crapova Festival, he just wanted to do something more for the fans.
I've been always there to uplift, you know what I mean? Always getting support from the people, you know what I mean? Always show love, always, you know, always there, you know, but, you know, you come a point that, you know, when you're going to a new job and you work for a time and you want to elevate and you realize that you're in a space that you're not getting a chance to really elevate, you know, so right now, that's why I started to create Beyond, you know what I mean? Which is, it's still a part of that, you know what I mean? I'm taking my experiences from that and putting it into, you know, me, you know what I mean, expressing who I am, who I truly are in this realm, you know what I mean.
Organizers of this year's St. Andrew Carnival are hoping to get 650 revelers on the road for that event on Independence Day. So far, just over 300 have registered for the jump, which moves off from Greenland and ends in Long Pond. But as the day inches closer, Treasurer of the St. Andrew Parish Independence Committee, Selena King, explains $100 specials are currently being offered to boost the numbers in the 6 sections of the T-shirt band.
Register, sign up. We have a great road. Greenland is part of the Bourne Highway, so you're going to get the North Trade Lanes, you're going to get the picturesque views, you get to see the Sleeping Giant, So you got to enjoy the culture, the beauty, the time. It's going to be an awesome time down here. We're a loving, great community, and we want people to come down and enjoy this community independence celebration.
This year, the event is being held under the theme, The Secret Treasures of St. Andrew. And Ms. King reiterates its aims to show locals and tourists what the parish has to offer.
Our objective, to be honest, for the carnival is to really let people see that St. Andrew is not a forgotten parish, that we not only have picturesque views, we have a community that is well defined. We have elderly folk, we have younger persons, we have a school. We are a developing community that requires attention like the rest of Barbados, I want to see, we have a lot of educated persons here as well. So we want people to come in and enjoy the culture of St. Andrew, the people of St. Andrew, the peace of St. Andrew.
Sports time now with Anne-Marie Burke.
Well, U.S.A Masters crushed West Indies Masters by 68 runs to lift the BMC over 50s Caribbean Cup. Sent into battle the final at Kensington Oval, U.S.A Masters racked up a competitive 189 for 9 off their 45 overs. Sanjira Singh slammed 51 and Fazal Alam 46. Captain Zamin Amin, he snapped up 4 for 27 off his 9 overs. CBC's Damien Best was there for the Windies innings.
U.S.A Masters set into bat by West Indies Masters in the final showdown at Kensington Oval. We pick up the action with the USA already losing 3 wickets. The rescue mission in the hands of Sanjira Veerasinghe starts well. William Lashley swept for 4. Veerasinghe and Monsin Khan built a handy 69-run partnership for the 4th wicket. 2 full from Chandapal Singh. Khan driving well. The fielder a mere escort. Anthony Morris from the opposite end to Sanjira works this one through square leg. That's his 50. Came off 62 balls and included 4 fours. A couple overs later and William Lashley brought into the attack. First ball, Veerasinghe struck in front, giving out LBW for 51. Just what the West Indies Masters needed. USA Masters 88 for 4, 27 overs gone. Fazal Alam came in and went to work immediately. Placement was picture perfect, but lacked the power. Picks up a couple runs. In fact, USA Masters did an excellent job running between the wickets, progressing to 116. Then this happened. Sudesh Daniram had Khan stumped by Anthony Sadeo for 30. 5 wickets down. Alam picked up the mantle. Down on bended knees, slog sweep, goes all the way, the first 6 of the match. USA Masters eventually finishing on 189 for 9 in 45 overs. Alam contributing 46 in that total. West Indies Masters with work to do. Damien Best, CBC Sports.
And chasing 194 victory, the West Indies Masters were bowled out for 121 in 38.5 overs to lose by 68 runs. Anthony Morris top scored with 40, while Chetan Patel took 2 for 11. But there is excitement and interest in road tennis in Rwanda. This follows a showcase of the indigenous sport of Barbados to the East African nation, and according to President Paul Kagame, it was well received. The Rwandan leader on a previous visit to Barbados even played road tennis. For its initiation in Rwanda, the sport will be launched in 4 locations across the city of Kigali and later expanded to other communities.
I didn't do so badly. So I know I'm going to do even much better on our roads here in the city. But I can tell you the sport is already popular by now for the few hours it has been introduced. People have been on the streets playing road tennis.
Director of Sports at the National Sports Council in Barbados, Neil Monroe, says Mr. Kagami's trip to Barbados back in April was a trigger for the cooperation in the development of road tennis and sports in general between the island and Rwanda.
We saw the road tennis on the outside being played, but what was not seen was that he had a meeting with a number of our cricket legends. It was a great moment for us because it showed that he was passionate about sports, cricket, and now passionate about road tennis. We are in the process of solidifying that relationship between Barbados and Rwanda through sport. And I believe in the next few years, we will see not only reciprocal visits, but we will see a deepening of the relationship between our countries.
Taking a look at business now, Barbados is expected to benefit from an influx of visitors from Martinique and other Caribbean destinations when the Hennessy Artistry show is held next month. Shem Scantlebury, Air Antilles representative for the Windward Islands, says there will be a special promotion for the event. Speaking at the launch of the event at Kensington Oval last night, he also said there will be direct flights to Barbados from next year.
Come April 2023, we're actually working on direct flights from Barbados to Antigua and also Dominica. All right, and you were asking me why are we actually supporting Hennessy Artistry 2022? Well, because tourism is our business, and in an effort to help the Barbadian economy, what we're doing is actually offering a discount for the Martinique citizens, so they'll get €6 off the regular rate. And it'll be about 60 round-trip tickets, even more than that, depending on how things go, for the weekend. And this will go in promotion from November 16th.
Rohan Campbell, the divisional manager for beer, wine, spirits and tobacco at Bryden Stokes, says the show and Hennessy brand go well together.
Hennessy Artistry has created a heritage of being an anticipated and well-appreciated stage show event which personifies the art of blending. It is a meeting point between music, art, and the most iconic cognac brand in the world, providing a high-energy, ultra-premium live musical experience, offering a unique blend of genres.
Director of Fast 7-star Alison Hunt says the return after a 2-year hiatus will be a bigger and better experience with a full weekend of entertainment. She spoke about what will happen on the beach on November 4th after the Kensington Oval event.
The cast for Hennessy Artistry on the beach consists of a few newcomers to the business, but very popular in terms of the younger demographic, which is traditionally the audience that we're going for. So we have Tentic, Lali, Mo, Prince Wani, Jelano, and they have never performed here before, and Elephant Man, representing for the 90s, my generation, right? So we had to make sure that they were there. Plus we have a few surprises. So you want to be there to see who those surprises are.
Rwandan officials say the business community in the African state is looking forward to the opportunities trade with Barbados will bring as the two countries boost ties. Honorary Consul of Barbados in Rwanda, Emery Rubagenga, says the country stands to gain immensely from agreements recently signed.
We have opportunities in international financial center, learning from each other. I'm talking government to government. But even for private sector, infrastructure-wise, we were talking about tourism, we were talking about information technology. They like the mobile payment system that we have in Rwanda. So the mobile payment facility or platform that exists in Rwanda, including the government platform Irembo, is so welcome there. This is a unique opportunity to go and do the e-government of an entire country.
Well, Anne-Marie, what can we expect from football this weekend?
Well, an action-packed weekend of football is set as the BFA concludes its local season with the finals of the Women's League and the Men's Republic Cup. Let's look ahead to the action. Last week, bumper crowds turned out at the BFA AstroTurf for the semi-finals of the Women's Super League and Men's Republic Cup competitions. And this weekend is expected to be a full house yet again for the finals. And the BFA has assured all logistics and security is in place.
We have measures in place for security to ensure that patrons are safe. So we'll be having our own private security as well as security from the police force in terms of the task force to ensure that people can have and watch the game safely.
Spectators will be in for 2 days of action starting tomorrow with the third place playoffs.
There'll be three matches on Saturday. We'll be starting at 4 o'clock with the plate finals between Pinelands and Mavericks. And then at 6 o'clock, we will have the Super League third place game between RF Prime and Kickstart Genesis. And then the final game will be at 8 o'clock. That will be the Republic Cup third place game between Watton FC and Paradise FC.
And then on Sunday is the big one. Who will rise to Super League and Republic Cup champion status?
The first game will be 5 o'clock. That will be the Super League finals between UE Blackbirds Women and VFC Femini, which is really Fixed Village Football Club. So we asking people to come out early to watch that game. And then at 8:30, there will be the final of the Republic Cup, the big final between Ellerton FC and Weymouth Wales Football Club.
Some special notes that gates will open at 3 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, and on Sunday at 4 p.m. Parking will be at the Wildy Gymnasium with lots of prizes in store for spectators.
That's the news. Good night.
Thanks for visiting us. To get more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.